If you wish to take full control over triad inversions on guitar, you absolutely need to see the whole picture and understand how those wheels are spinning in the first place. Only then will the bits and pieces of the puzzle begin to fall into a predictable system. I'll reveal the full logic behind every element and how they combine to build a working unit. Sit back and watch closely. This is C in standard guitar tuning. Other C is always located on the same string 12 frets above or below. Since both the length of the ringing string segment and the string's thickness affect the pitch, it is possible to produce the same note on different strings. The same pitch on adjacent strings is almost always 5 frets away. This is true when guitar is tuned in fourths, but standard tuning has a single tuning warp between the third and second strings. The unison is affected by it the same way as any other interval. Using the two tricks I just mentioned, we can find all instances of any note across the entire neck. The pattern is always the same, just in different positions. A triad consists of 3 different notes located at certain distances from each other. You don't need to look for all triad notes to play it instantly. You only need a single root and shape. Let's take C on the 5th string as our root and focus on the major triad shape in the diagram. If the guitar were tuned in fourths only, the same shape would apply to all string sets. In standard tuning, only 4 lower strings follow this. The shape works there but warps when crossing between third and second strings. Once again, now we can play a single C major triad inversion on any string set. But we need all 3 inversions, same notes in different order. Sure, you can memorize 2 more shapes and learn to adjust them to the tuning warp, but this doesn't show how beautifully connected all inversions can be. If you're familiar with open chord shapes C, A, G, E, and D, you should see they almost entirely consist of different major triad inversions and can serve as your mnemonic guide. Every group of 3 notes in these diagonals represents one or another inversion of a major triad. Here you can see the complete collection of available shapes. As you may have already noticed, the inversions overlap, differing by just a single note each time. You can memorize where the root is in every shape and call it good, but it's far better to recognize the inversion by its intervallic structure. This way, you'll be able to build the inversion on the fly, not just on 3 strings, and even change its type. This does require some additional training, which you can get in the free section of my Fretboard navigation course. Now we see all inversions of the C major triad enclosed voicing across the fretboard. You can invert the triad while traveling across and along the fretboard. This lets you choose the best triad inversion on demand. Of course, the triads follow not only the same familiar paths, but can also be constructed on 2 strings or even a single string. Later, we will cover this in greater detail, but for now, I just want to mention that triad inversions on 2 strings can be incredibly useful when expanding our playing range beyond a single position. The symmetrical approach not only facilitates this expansion, but is also visually intuitive and technically flexible. To achieve this, we need to focus on the octave and the intervals we've discussed so far. Until now, we've only used the major triad as an example, but there are also minor, diminished, and augmented types. They are very similar and can be transformed into one another by altering a single note by a semitone. They all follow the same logic as the major triad does, and if you learn the major properly, the other types become easy. So far, we've discussed the closed voicing of the triad, which includes the closest possible notes. Honestly, this is a much more important topic to focus on when beginning your studies compared to spread triads or open voicings that skip every other note of the triad. But if you're interested, I have another video covering this topic. Please check the link in the description. Triads are far more than a standalone fretboard navigation tool. By learning them, you also build a solid foundation for navigating denser musical structures such as seventh chord arpeggios, pentatonics, scales, and modes. All of them have some kind of triad at their core, so take your time. Understanding the principles is crucial, but I believe you should take a closer look at every available shape, compare and review them from different perspectives. With some patience, you can do this on your own, but if you want to save time and skip nothing, I've done all the heavy lifting for you. Check the download link in the video description. It contains diagonals of all 4 triad types, every triad shape across different string sets, and various inversions on the same string set, the complete collection for your reference. This is a longer version of the similar video I created at your request. Did it meet your expectations? If the extended version is better, what specifically makes it so? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you. Stay tuned.